Hi, we're the Misery Machine.
I'm Yerky.
And I'm Drewby, and we have some breaking news. Samuel Little, arguably America's most prolific serial killer, has died at a Los Angeles County hospital yesterday. He was 80 years old.
So no cause of death has been released yet. There does not appear to be any signs of foul play. However, it is known that Little was diabetic. He did have a heart condition, so those definitely are, underlying factors here.
Little had been serving 4 consecutive life sentences at a state prison in Los Angeles County since 2014. This was for 3 murders that he committed in South Los Angeles during the 1980s.
So after confessing while incarcerated, he did admit that he strangled his victims, and a lot of those victims' deaths had been not ruled homicides previously. A lot of them had been accidental, overdoses, things of that nature, so that is why a lot of them weren't red flags for murder.
It should also be noted that the majority of his victims were young people of color. Again, like Yergy said, struggling with addiction. They were impoverished, so this is why he was able to go undetected for decades.
It was actually quite crazy. So last year, the FBI actually stated he was the most prolific serial killer in all of U.S. history, and they sought the help of the public to try to find his victims.
Yeah, he had made many sketches of his victims, especially while in prison. They thought he had committed, over 90 murders at this point, and they're trying to close all of these. Some of these had been wrongly attributed to other people. They just want all of these closed and all of these attributed to him.
Yeah, and like I had said earlier, to other causes. These weren't ODs, these weren't accidents. So prior to his death, prosecutors had actually been weighing in on whether or not to formally charge him for many of these killings. It was at least 14 different states that they occurred in.
Yeah.
So the agency is also stating that every one of these murders he confessed to are credible. This isn't some sort of confession killer situation with Henry Lee Lucas. These are credible confessions he's making.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when he's made confessions in the past for killings that were ruled overdoses or ruled the fault of someone else, and then they were able to prove those correctly. The FBI looks at his confessions with a bit more credibility than, as Yergy said, somebody like Henry Lee Lucas. It is kind of surprising to me that Samuel Little isn't more well known as a serial killer, given his reign of terror over many decades.
I consider myself very well versed in a lot of the bigger U.S. serial killers, and I hadn't heard of him until you told me about him last night.
Yeah, he has surpassed Ted Bundy, surpassed John Wayne Gacy. These are
Gary Ridgway, too.
Yeah, America's serial killers, the ones that people know when you think of American serial killers. But really, I think the reign of terror of Samuel Little should be known more. And why do I think this? It's because he preyed on impoverished people. He preyed on people of color. He preyed on people that are kind of invisible to the media, invisible to society. And it just shows just how long somebody with a bit of wherewithal can commit such heinous acts.
This went on for decades because they just didn't care about the women. A lot of women, that meet this type of fate with serial killers are drug addicts, sex workers, and we as people need to do better on that. It's not fair for the families or the loss that they die and these people get to go free and live their lives for decades just because no one wants to look into their deaths.
These people need to be brought to justice that commit things like this. And in my lifetime, hopefully for the rest of America's history, we don't have another serial killer like Samuel Little ever again. So we have a podcast called The Misery Machine. You can find it here on YouTube or any podcasting platform that you choose. We do plan in the future to do a full episode on Samuel Little.
Absolutely.
So please look forward to that in the future. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. Hitting subscribe and the bell notification, you'll never miss any content we put out. We release new podcast episodes every Monday, so keep an eye out for those.
So what did you think about this? Did you know about Samuel Little prior, or you like me and had no idea? So let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think. Your feedback really, really helps us make more of these smaller episodes. We want to make more of them for you.
All right, guys, until next time.